Hey, I'm Mr. Steak. You know, timing is everything. You buy a stock too soon or you buy it too late could make the difference between champagne dinner or beans and franks. And it's the same thing when you're cooking a steak. There's a lot of steps to it. The first step is to take the steak out of the freezer and put it in the refrigerator. Let it sit in the refrigerator at least 36 hours, maybe 2 days. Then when you're getting ready to cook, take it out of the refrigerator, set it on the counter, and let it sit for about 3 hours. The next step, season it 45 minutes before you're going to cook. That way, seasoning infuses in a sort of osmosis into the meat. The next step is put the steak on the grill and make sure that grill is really hot. We've got the Mr. Steak infrared grill here over 1,000 degrees. It's an amazing product available at Bass Pro and Cabela's and Apt. One other tip is how to determine when your steak is done. First of all, only turn the steak once. You put it on the grill, you cook it to when you think it's about half done, and then turn it over. Then use the touch method to feel the firmness of the steak. If the steak is very firm, it's pretty well done. If it's soft, it's less well done, more rare or medium rare. Experience will tell you when it's done and when it's not done. Whatever you do, never puncture a steak. Use the touch method. Put your finger on it. And remember, when you take a steak off the grill, it's going to cook for another minute or two. So experience will show you exactly when to take the steak off. You may blow it a couple of times. You may make it too well done or not enough done. But eventually, you'll get it down like I do. I don't have to cut the steak. I don't have to puncture it. I know exactly when it's done. Touch method is pretty simple. You just touch the steak. If it's firm, it's more done. If it's softer, it's less done. This is a thicker steak, and they put on at the same time. So this one's going to be, my feeling is this one right now, based on my experience, is medium to medium rare. And I'm going to take this one off. We're going to let it settle. It's a little softer. You can see how your finger goes in a little bit. It's going to cook another minute or two after you take it off. So my friend likes it medium rare, and I'm going to take this one off and call it medium rare. Always err on the side of not done enough, because you can't make a steak more rare once it's more well done. But you can take a steak that's kind of rare, and if it's not enough, you can always put it back on. It's not brain surgery to do it right. But on the other hand, there aren't a lot of brain surgeons out here. If you're the average guy like me that just likes a good steak, follow the simple steps. Sometimes the simplest is the best. You know, when I was in cook school in the Army at Fort Leonard Wood, they had a class that taught you how to cut a sandwich in half. I never realized the technical aspects of cutting a sandwich in half. But after point 48.9, point A7, I learned how to cut the sandwich in half. And you know, after that, I was an expert at it. When I'm now cooking steaks and it's a little more involved, I don't have 47.9 A16. I have basically just a few simple steps that are going to help you make your steak a lot better, have it taste a lot better. Not that it wouldn't taste good if you did none of this. It's still going to be okay. But we're going for the ultimate steak. We're trying to help you create the best steak you can at home. And these simple steps, out of the freezer, a couple of days into the refrigerator, a couple of hours on the counter before you cook it, a couple of minutes, 4 or 5 minutes after it's cooked to let it settle. All these things will help you get the best steak that you can possibly have.